This video is going to cover some new features that I recently added to the Scripture Chaser. These are extra added features. You can search just fine without them, but they are nice to know about because they may make your job a little bit easier. We are told to search the Scriptures, but not told how. Now we have the tools available to do this. The words list. There is a list of words used in the Scriptures in a list box on the main search page. This list contains a new column called Soundex. Soundex is a system for assigning numbers to words based on how they sound. Words that sound alike or spelled similarly have the same Soundex number. Even if you misspell a word, you can get its Soundex and compare it to actual words that might sound like it. You can sort on every column. Sort on the word column for an alphabetical listing. Sort on the frequency column to see how often a word is used. Sort on the Soundex column to group together words that sound alike. For more information about Soundex, see the help file. I made it easier to find words on the list. Click somewhere on the list and begin to type your word. You probably won't have to type more than 3 or 4 letters before you find your word. The letters you type are saved in a buffer, and every time you type a letter, it gets added to the buffer and the program searches the entire list for a match. If you make a mistake, you need to clear the buffer and start over. To clear the buffer, click away from the list and click back, or even easier, press the space bar and start over, typing your word from the beginning. Automatic row sizing. So far, the videos and help page show a control called grid spacing. I removed this control because it never worked properly, and I found a way to automatically space every row with the proper size. You can still drag down on the bottom of a row to make it even bigger. You must drag down on the first column. Here are a few examples. Word tools. The whole idea with word tools is to select a word, then do something with it, in that word. Words that sound alike or Soundex creates a list of all the words in the Scripture database that sound like the word you enter, even if you spell that word wrong. Here's how to use these additional features. From the search or filter text boxes, you can just type a word or select an existing word from either the search or filter text boxes. It doesn't have to be spelled correctly. To show you how this works, type the following unrelated words in the search box. Word permanent covenant. I deliberately misspelled a couple of words for this test. Next, click over the tabbed panel on the left and click on the tab that says Soundex. Select the word by double-clicking on it. Then right-click to see the pop-up menu. You see selected word, Soundex and selected word strongs. Select selected word, Soundex, then notice the Soundex column on the left side of the main window. It shows all the words in the database that sound like word. Next, select permanent, double-click to select, and right-click for the menu. Select Soundex again to see the list of sound-alike words. I picked this word because I always spell it wrong. Notice that the Soundex table has the correct spelling. So, this is a good tool to catch spelling errors. If you spell a word wrong and try searching for it, you won't find it. Next, select covenant, and do the same thing. Supposing you want to search for the word covenant, but you spelled it with an E instead of an A. You find the correct spelling in the Soundex table, and you double-click on the word. The word is then automatically added to the search box. But, look at all the other forms of covenant in the Scriptures. They show up in the Soundex table. Use them as suggestions for words that you may have overlooked. You could double-click each of them, add them to the search box and search for all of them. Covenant or covenants or covenanted or covenanting or covenanteth or covenant breakers. You get 534 items returned. Or, in this case, the many Soundex words could make you realize that you could capture all of them with a wildcard character, covenant star. Covenant. This is easier to type and gives you the same results. What about the Strong's item on the pop-up menu? Just type covenant in the search box and spell it right this time. Double-click, then right-click, as before, but this time select selected word Strong's. The result is a pop-up window with the word covenant in every place it is used in the Bible. There are several different words translated covenant in both the Old and New Testaments. The pop-up also tells you where that specific word is used. If you want to see a specific verse, select it, and copy and paste to the search box. For example, HEB 10:16. Don't forget the quotes. Notice that the pop-up window shows the root word, or the word from which covenant derives. Roots, G1303. That G1303 is the Strong's word. You can double-click to select that word, then copy and paste it into the search box. Once in the search box, you can select G1303, and do a Strong's search on that word. You get a new pop-up with a new definition and more words to search. You could keep going like this for an in-depth study of a word and quickly find yourself down a rabbit hole. You can keep adding pop-up windows. So, maybe this is enough for now, as we move on to something else. From the search grid. Here is another place where we can select individual words and use tools on them. Let's continue with our example. We have searched for HEB 10:16, and we have one verse returned in the search grid. What can we do? To operate on a verse, we first have to select it. Which means you have to click on it. Once you have clicked on the verse in the grid, we need to select individual words. Step 1. Right-click on the cell in the verse column. You should see a menu. Remember to click on the row to select it first, otherwise you won't see anything. Step 2. You see the choices open containing chapter, discussed earlier, word tools with Strong's words, and look up verse in Strong's. Step 3. If you select word tools, you get a pop-up window showing the same verse with words that you can select. Double-click a single word, right-click, and see the menu word links and words that sound alike. Select one of these options and press OK to close the window and run what you selected. If you press cancel or hit the escape key, the window will close and nothing will happen. But if you selected word links, and click OK, then that word you selected is written in the search menu, so you can run a full search on that word. Or if you selected words that sound alike, and click OK, then the program adds that word to the Soundex grid. Step 4. If you select word tools with Strong's words, you get the exact same thing as Step 3, but you also get the verse showing Strong's words, and a new option Strong's Dictionary. This new option only works on the Strong's words, in boldface. You get a pop-up window with a quick definition for just that word. Step 5. If you select Lookup Verse in Strong's, you see a pop-up window showing every Strong's word in the verse and every definition of every Strong's word.